Hi everyone, this is Alison from Crumbz Craft. Today we're going to show you how to join in the round. So I've already cast on the stitches that I need. Now there's so many things that you can actually use knitting in the round, and that's beanies and socks, and I'll show you all about that as we go on. All right, so but today at the moment I'm just going to show you how to join that side to that side there. So don't think it's too hard. Once you've done it a couple of times you'll be fine and you get the idea. All right, so first off is when you've cast on, lay it down so it is sitting nice and flat like that, all the same, all the way around. It's really important because if it's not, it will twist and you won't be able to continue knitting like it. It'll have a big twist in it. All right. So, and the other is that you'll need a stitch marker so you'll know where to start and end the round. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slip the stitch over onto the left hand needle. We're then going to put our marker on, all right, onto there. We're then going to carry on and we're going to knit into the back of those two stitches, which is the one that you slipped over onto the left hand needle and the first stitch that was there. So now we're going to knit through the back of that stitch, being very careful, don't stretch it too much, and then we're going to continue knitting around. Okay, now sometimes when you're knitting a sock, it is very difficult to get round on the first round. That one is okay because you've got a little bit of room, as you can see, a little bit of room coming around there. But what you need to watch is that when you've only got a few stitches, and being the finer wool, you've got to be very gentle with your knitting. I'll just put that one to the side for a minute. So when we're knitting a sock, you need to make sure that it is kept up close to the ends of your knitting. All right, you're not going to be able to knit like that. It's really important that you keep your fingers over the top of your needles. So we're going to purl, and once you've done a couple of stitches, so it's a bit slow to start with until you've got it going. The first couple of rounds are the hardest because it's hard to maneuver around. So what you do once I've done a couple of stitches, I just very gently bring that back round and bring them back up to the top. Now see how it's stretched around there. Don't panic too much. And then what we'll do is just keep doing that and just do 2 or 3 stitches. And see how I'm keeping it up nice and close to the edge. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down around very gently and bring it back up on the left hand needle. All right, and then I'm going to do a couple more. And try and keep it as close as you can. It's really important. Just like that. And as you keep going round, each round will get easier and easier. And because I'm on my second round now, and it's a lot easier to maneuver around there. And as you get more and more rows done, it becomes a lot easier. Now what I've just been knitting here is this sock here. So if you'd just like to have a look at that, when I open it up, that's how much stretch there is. So that's why I'm saying that once you get going and you've done a couple of rounds, it becomes a lot easier to knit. All right, so that's the joining in the round, but I will continue with this one. I'm just going to do knit all the way around. These are done on 25 centimetre cable needles, and see how I'm just keeping moving that around, because this is my first round, so it'll just be a little bit tight. And it's so much fun just knitting around. Now, when you are knitting in the round like what we are doing right now, if it says just knit, what happens is it becomes, you don't have to purl, all right? It just becomes like stocking stitch, but all you're doing is knitting, just the knit stitch only. All right, so you can see how that's starting to get a little bit easier now. And when you do start knitting, I've got another one here just to show you and how it keeps coming up. All right, so this is my other one I've started. Now, as you can see, that's what I was talking about, stretch, all right? And that was the same amount of stitches on this needle as this one. And so you're going to have plenty of room. It's going to move around so much easier once you get going, all right? So, and when you are knitting in the round, make sure it comes up towards you, rightio? Don't ever think that you're going to knit like that, it facing down. It must always be facing up towards you when you knit. Otherwise, you're going to be going back on yourself, on your knitting, and you'll end up with a hole in the sock or in a beanie, whatever you're knitting. All right, so it's really important that you make sure that when you pick it up, that it is facing up towards you. All right, so that is all it is. And then when you have finished, all I do is with the darning needle, got too many things in here now, and then all you do is you've come back to that piece. There's the last and the first stitch. So all you're going to do is you're going to, because it's coming out of there, so all you're going to do is come up, because that's your one that you knitted together. So what I want you to do is we're going to come up into that stitch there. So when you gently pull it, it's going to look like, see if I can pull it down around there. It's going to look like, there it is there. It's going to look like the other stitches. Now, you won't be able to thread sew in anymore at that stage. You'll have to wait until it's finished. And then what you do is that you thread it. So there's my one there. All right. And all you're going to do is thread it back up through the stitches. Now I'm going to be using a bigger needle just so I can show you where you're going to put it. So you've got it there. All right, I've put my first stitch in, and now what I'm going to do is come under that stitch, and then you're going to come around each one of those. All right, each one of your knit stitches, just like that. So down, it goes over, and then it comes back up into that stitch there. All right, into that one there on the side. All right, I'll show you one more coming up. So it's on the side stitch there that I'm doing it. All right, and just carry that on up. You can't see it when it's all done. Okay, that's it there. And yeah, so that's the end of the sewing in and the joining of the round. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope it's helped you. And hear from me next time. Okay, bye everybody.